Hey, how's it going YouTube? I'm Landon and welcome back to another most amazing top 10 video. In my last one I asked all of you, what do you think is the worst way to die? And this is what you all said down here. Today's comment question of the day is, what is something that you want to accomplish in life? Well, for some people it's extreme and it's to be able to break out of prison. So right here is the top 10 greatest escapes from prison. And also don't forget to let me know what top 10 do you guys want to see next. Starting in at number 10 we have Alcatraz. It was a maximum high security federal prison on Alcatraz Island, and it was supposed to be America's only escape-proof prison. However, 3 men vanished inside of its walls on June 11th, 1962. The jail is located right in the middle of San Francisco Bay, and it held the worst of the worst. We're talking about murderers, rapists, Frank Morris, John, and Clarence Anglin, who were all serving life sentences for robbery, possession of narcotics, and attempted to escape other prisons. Well, these men allegedly dug a hole in their cell. They went right through the concrete with a metal spoon. They were able to make a drill from a vacuum cleaner, and they were able to muffle the sounds while only drilling during music time. Who has music time in a jail? So these 3 left behind paper mache dummies, so when the guards checked up on them, well, they're right there sleeping and nothing is going on. So they were able to escape at night. Though the prison claims the men drowned at sea, maintained that the belief that the penitentiary had no successful escapes in its 29 years of operation. The prison closed after 1 year after their escape. Their remains have never been found, and the U.S. Marshal Service maintains an active case file on the trio today. Moving on to Frank Abagnale, and he comes in at number 9. Have you guys ever watched the movie Catch Me If You Can, starring Leonardo DiCaprio? Well, that was based on a true story of a 67-year-old American Frank who has become the most famous imposter ever. He has claimed the identities of at least 8 people, and that's including an airline pilot, a doctor, a U.S. Bureau of Prisons, a lawyer, and guess what? He was all of these professions before the age of 21 years old. But unfortunately, Frank was caught and he was sentenced away to prison. But he was able to escape from a British airliner. And this is at New York's JFK International Airport. And this is all while being deported to the States. Another time, he was able to escape again from the Federal Detention Center in Atlanta, Georgia, while waiting trial. He has gone on to become one of the greatest criminals ever who's only served 5 years behind bars. And now he's become a featured speaker at anti-crime seminar and also has appeared on TV. He has guest starred on The Tonight Show, and he has 5 books out of himself. Now at number 8, we have the escape artist. And I'm talking about Yoshi Shiratori, who is a Japanese-born genius who was able to escape from prison 4 different times. 1933, he was apprehended on suspicion of murder and robbery. Yoshi was given the death sentence but was able to escape from Amori prison in 1936. And this is after he was able to obtain wire to pick his handcuffs and he escaped. But he was recaptured, but 2 years after he escaped through events. And this is located in the prison ceilings. After he was arrested again, he decided to saw through his floor and escape yet again. He used a sharpened piece of sheet metal. Unfortunately, he died at 72. We now have the helicopter escape, and this comes in at number 2 men escaped from a St. Jerome detention center by using a helicopter, and this took place in Quebec, Canada. One man was identified as 36-year-old Benjamin, and this guy was suspected to be a part of Hell's Angels. So there's these 2 random men who was carrying backpacks. They showed up for their flight on a helicopter. As soon as the pilot took off, he found himself at gunpoint, and he was ordered to fly to this detention center. The helicopter then landed on the roof, and they lowered ropes to the prison yard. 2 men grabbed on, and they flew right off. This is so crazy, it's almost like something from a friggin' movie. It just seems so insane. And you know what? Helicopter escapes are actually more common than you think. It happens like every single year, and more commonly in Canada. They have had 2 helicopter escapes in the past 2-3 years. In the number 6 spot, Pascal Payet, who I'm calling the crafty Frenchman. Right now he's 51 years old and he's become famous for his daring prison escapes. And one of his escapes, well, we just kind of talked about it, but he hijacked a helicopter. He was initially sentenced to jail for 30 years. And this is for committing murder and a robbery back in 1997. He has a long history of criminal charges. 6 years for his 2001 jailbreak, 7 more years for another jailbreak that happened in 2003. His latest criminal actions was in 2007, where he received 15 years for armed robbery and assault on a police officer while he was on the run. Pascal still remains in custody and he hasn't escaped since 2007. Maybe this guy has gotten a little bit old, or maybe he's waiting for his last big escape. In at number 5, you guys probably know him as Dr. Richard Kimball. And for you guys who have no idea, well, have you ever seen the movie The Fugitive? It's a 1993 movie starring Harrison Ford. If you guys haven't watched it, oh my god, what the heck are you waiting for? This movie was awesome and based on a true story. And the true story was based on Sam Shepard. He was a very successful physician in Cleveland, Ohio. Sam was framed for the murder of his pregnant wife. Dr. Shepard was soon arrested and charged for his wife's murder, and then he was sentenced away to 10 years behind bars. But he was able to escape when a train derailed, and Dr. Shepard spent 4 years in intensive manhunt. After time passed by, there was evidence that would clear his name, and that's when he decided to turn himself in. It's a really crazy story about a man who lived his life on the run for killing his wife that he did not even do. Really crazy story, but let's move on to number 4, and we're talking about Ted Bundy. He was an American serial killer, kidnapper, rapist, and necrophiliac who assaulted and murdered numerous young women and girls during the 70s. He confessed to 30 homicides that took place in 7 different states. But the true number of victims, it's unknown, and some say it could be much higher. He was caught and he was sentenced to serve his time in Florida State Prison. While he was being taken to court, he was able to escape by jumping out a 2nd floor window. He was a fugitive for 6 days and then he was recaptured again. But he was able to escape. His second escape was so damn good that no one even noticed until the next day. While on the run, he used a fake name, Chris Hagen Bundy. I'm not really sure why he still kept his last name. This is supposed to be a fake name. What were you doing? He lived his life on the run, stealing and murdering people and taking things from them that he wanted. Again, he was captured and he spent 9 years on death row in Florida. He eventually was executed on an electric chair at the age of 42. Next up at number, we have The Great Escape. There was an attempt of prisoners of war to escape Stalag Stuff 3, which was a Nazi maximum security work camp. And this is during the later half of World War II. From April 1943 to March 1944, over 600 prisoners worked on this project for people to escape. They dug 3 tunnels nicknamed Tom, which was hidden in a dark corner, Dick underneath a bathroom drain, and Harry beside a stove. The tunnels were positioned 30 feet underground to escape detection by the guards. Out of all 3 of the tunnels, Harry was the only one completed. So 200 men tried to escape on March 24th, 1944. And all these guys that were going in the tunnel to escape, they realized that the tunnel was too short. So the prisoners were found completely visible to the prison guards. So only 76 men who chose the right tunnel to escape from were able to escape that night. And all but 3 people were recaptured. Hitler ordered to kill everyone who tried to escape, including the architect of the prison and also all of the guards that were on duty at the time. Okay, finally moving on to number 2, we have Frank Freshwaters, aka let's call him Andy Dufresne, or aka from the movie Shawshank Redemption. Frank was a real-life character who inspired the movie. He was convicted of manslaughter who escaped from an Ohio prison back in 1959. And ever since then, he was able to disappear, well, until now. Now at the age of 79 years old, and after 56 years of being on the run, he was caught. This has become the longest time recorded to have ever escaped from prison and to be caught years later. That's pretty much something you don't want to be known for. Frank Freshwaters actually stayed in the same prison where the movie was filmed. I wonder if this guy, while he was on the run, if he ever got time to watch the movie. I'm sure he did. And I wonder if he found out like the inaccuracies of the movie, or was the movie spot on? Finally, we have made it to the number 1 spot. And we're talking about a con artist who has escaped prison many times. And he is known as Stephen J. Russell. He became so good that there was a movie made after him called I Love You, Philip Morris, and it was played by Jim Carrey. Russell was fired back in the 90s for being gay, and that's when he decided, you know what, I'm gonna commit crimes, I'm gonna take whatever I want. So he was caught, and his first sentence was 6 months after faking a slip and fall accident. He escaped in 4 weeks. And after that, Russell was able to steal $800,000 from a company. that he embezzled from. But he was got again. This time he was able to escape by becoming the judge on his own case. He was committing identity fraud. He changed his own bail that was set at $950,000 to $45,000, something that he was able to afford, so he paid it. And he went out the front door. But he was tracked down and he was sentenced back for 45 more years. He was sent to a maximum security prison where there's no freaking way he can escape. But again, he escaped by dressing up as a doctor, and he told everyone he's a doctor, and out the front door again he went. This could be a very long video if I talked about every single one of his escapes. But let's just say he was sentenced to a total of 144 years. 99 years for the escapes and 45 years for all the scams he's been doing. His release date is set in 2140, and right now he's on a 23-hour-a-day lockup. All I can say is he has 1 hour a day to plan and scheme. Well, there you guys have it. That was your top 10 video. This was the top 10 best prison escapes. Let me know what you guys thought. Did I miss anyone? Who did you think was going to be number 1? And also, don't forget to let me know what top 10 do you guys want to see next. I'll see you guys all next Friday. Well, let me know what you guys think of this video, and if you guys like this video, let me know by hitting that like button. And if you guys want more, don't forget to subscribe. That way, as soon as I make a video on a Friday, you guys will be the first ones to be notified of it. Well, that's it for this video. That was a whole lot, and I'll see you guys later.